Welcome back to Peachy's place. My name is Peachy and this is my place.
Right then, round 3. Hello folks, good evening. It's a wet and windy one. It's perfect weather for a safe riding video. And it's going to be a short one today, I think, because the GoPro's giving me problems and I don't know how long it's going to hold out. I know that the battery was fully charged, and then when I plugged the camera in, it's given me 1 bar and a hell of a time to get it going. So hopefully this is it now. If it gives me 10-15 minutes, I'll be happy. So it's been a while since my first one, but on the back of that, which seemed to have been very well received, I had some fantastic comments, and I do want to keep on doing them because I believe that particularly young riders and new riders can benefit from these simple little tips. Bear in mind, I don't profess to be any kind of a professional rider or you know, or anything, but little tips, little common sense tips, because common sense isn't so common, and hopefully if I can avoid just one person having an accident, then it's been worth it. So I've been meaning to get out for a while, but I've been busy, so here we are. Today I want to go along the topic of watching several steps in front of you. This is particularly true on bends. Now at the moment I'm in slow moving traffic, but that doesn't mean that it's not just as a valid a point here. It is a valid point here, and the reason I say that is because you want to watch 2 or 3 cars in front of you to see what's going on further down the road, because if you're watching the guy in front and he makes a sudden maneuver, or he goes to avoid an obstacle on the road, maybe a pedestrian or roadkill or a nail or something like that, let alone them braking hard, you really want to be prepared and not just watching the car in front, but several cars in front here, and you want to see what's going on. You want to see what's coming well in advance. So that's just as true in slow moving traffic as it is when you're hitting the twisties and winding roads and whatnot. And the reason I've chosen to talk about this particular topic is because it's something that, in my opinion, people get caught out on all the time. I know I have done once or twice, and it's definitely worth covering. Especially if you live in a fairly small place like I do, or even in a bigger area where you ride the same roads all the time. You become so used to the roads, you get to know them so well, it lures you into a false sense of security, and you really need to be able to plan your route around a corner, or even going in a straight line, but particularly so around a corner where you can't see what's coming. In a straight line, any dangers ahead of you are fairly obvious most of the time. Now it is wet. That means that traction is really crappy, so I'm not going to be leaning the bike over too much or anything in the twisties. but what I want to do is just highlight the safest, how to navigate a course, how to chart your course through the twisties. I know that sounds a little bit like I'm overcomplicating turning. It sounds it, it's not. It's something that I think a lot of people do most of the time, but a lot of people, particularly new riders, don't do it. And even some of us who are more experienced still get caught out from time to time. So like here, this is one of my favourite areas, one of my favourite little bits of road to come and have a play on. I'm going slow and I'm not really leaning the bike at the moment, but as you're coming through the corner, see to the right of me I can't see past the barrier, right? To the right there you've got the club, the barrier, and I can't really see what's coming down the road. Now for all I know, I get round this corner and there could be a car stop there, or there could be a pedestrian lane in the middle of the road. So you never know what's coming, and what you want to do is you're watching the road in front of you, you're watching it in stages, you're looking at the corner as far as you can possibly see into the bend, and you're aiming for that spot, and as you hit that spot you continue looking to the furthest reaches of the corner, particularly on areas that you're not familiar with, or where there's a sudden sharp right bend. You want to decrease your speed. Don't go too fast through an area where there might be tall hedges or trees, or where you're surrounded by walls, or in any situation where you can't see what's coming towards you. And always look as far down the road as you can. I know that an awful lot of people that I've seen it happening around the rock in Spain, so I'm sure it happens in every other area of the world too. This corner particularly is wet. I'm slowing right down. It's a slippery corner at the best of times, but today I have no faith in it. Here, cars come up this way, they come shooting up there, and it's a blind spot. So you stay as far right as you can, but you don't want to be too far to the right. Another thing is, you want to be in the centre of your lane, where I am now. That always gives you options. As this corner comes, if a car, say a car were coming this way, straight towards me in sort of in the middle of the two lanes there, then by staying in the centre of the road, you can just flick it over to the right very quickly, and that gives you an out. If there's anything that you'd like to add to that, anything that in your own experience you feel, you know, any experiences you've had where you've had a crash as a result of something coming up on your blind side in the corner, or where you weren't watching several cars ahead of you and an obstacle came up suddenly, or perhaps where you were watching and where doing that saved you. Any experiences you have like that would be more than greatly received, and I'd be very interested in any comments that you might have. So, back home now, I think. I don't know, I might stay out and ride around for a little bit. Yes, even in the wind and the wet. One last thing. I wanted to say a quick shout out to a new friend of mine. There's a new motor vlogger on the rock, so that's great for me, because for ages I was starting to really feel alone down this end. More and more recently I'm encountering people in Spain, motor vloggers in Spain, who aren't that too far away from me, and they're saying let's meet up for a ride, which has been fantastic. But even so, having someone in Jib who knows the people that I know, who does pretty much the same sort of thing that I do, the same streets, but throwing into that his own life experience, a completely different bike, and as his channel progresses, I'm sure he's going to become a motor vlogger definitely well worth watching. So if you could please take a look at Mr. Badger Martin. I'll put the link in the description below. He's a great fella.
That's all, folks.